Vocabularies of words are a very important part when we are studying English, and in this video I'll show you how I made my vocabularies. This is a video for you to take ideas on how to make your own vocabularies, not to make them exactly the same, because my vocabularies got complicated as I was advancing in English. But it was because in my situation it was the best way to learn. When I started making them, this is how they looked. Only a list of words with a translation and nothing else. But the problem with this way of making them is that a word in English can have several meanings, depending if the word is a pronoun, verb, noun, or adjective. Also, when I went back to study them, I did not remember which was the correct way to pronounce the word. Well, this is how my vocabularies ended up. What I did was to write the word in English, then put an equal sign, and with words that had a pronunciation difficult to remember, I wrote it inside quotation marks as it was heard in Spanish. I also wrote the accent on the syllable that had the emphasis of the word. Then I wrote the different meanings in Spanish, followed by the explanation in English. For example, these words. Meditation equals meditation, meditación, reflexión, serious thought or study or the product of this activity. Counseling equals counseling, asesoría, consultoría, the job or process of listening to someone and giving them advice about their problems. In this example, the usefulness of writing the pronunciation is clearer, because words are written exactly the same, but depending if we are speaking about a verb or an adjective, the pronunciation is going to be different. For example, articulate. As a verb, the pronunciation is articulate. Articular, enunciar, to express in words, to pronounce. But when we are talking about an adjective, it is articulate. Articulate equals articulate. Articulado, claro, able to express thoughts and feelings easily and clearly. Another thing that I did is that if there were different meanings of verbs, pronouns, nouns, and all that, I enclosed them in parentheses, just as I did in these examples when the meaning of the word is a verb or an adjective. I also used the semicolon to separate explanations of different meanings. Something else that is very important is that the vocabularies have to be relevant and not just random words. Ideally, in some way, the words of the vocabulary should be used again to learn something useful. One very effective way that I found was reading a book in English and writing the words that I didn't know, indicating the page where each new word was. Here, for example, you can see the numbers of the pages that are written in this part. When I was making my vocabularies, I wanted to be accepted in an interview for a customer service job, so I read a book in English about customer service. By doing this, I achieved two very important things. The first one was to increase my vocabulary, and the second one was to learn new concepts of customer service that were going to be very useful in the interview. Once I finished reading the book and having written all the words that I didn't know in my notebook, I read the same book a few additional times, but I did it by studying the vocabulary of 2 or 3 pages and then reading those pages in the book. Although doing the vocabulary the first time was a lot of work, reading the book and understanding 100% of those 2 pages was something that felt amazing. Remember that this is something that is going to be getting easier and easier, because as your vocabulary grows, you are going to find fewer and fewer words that you don't understand, until you reach the point where you can read whole books as if they were written in Spanish or your native language. I know that making the vocabularies in this way that I just showed may seem like too much work, but I am sure it really works. But I must accept that for me learning English was almost an obsession, but making them in this way allowed me to learn thousands of new words in very little time. At the end,